Yeah, thank you all very much. I have some late-breaking swine flu information for you to share with you. After a fantastic reception last night, many of you attended last night's event at 6 Mile Creek Winery, an ambitious group of young Sloanies and young at heart Sloanies headed off to Rulof's. And they were able to conclude while there that if you stayed long enough and drank long enough, you could surely drown any potential swine flu virus. So congratulations, young Sloanies, on your capstone project last night. I am here tonight to talk about the tween years of the Sloan program, that period of time between childhood and maturity. Perhaps you remember your own tween years, growing pains, acne, awkward prom dates, the tween years. But before I do, I have to tell you something. Bill Gonzalez was just up here, and what a youthful guy Bill is. You know, you look at him, some people have compared Bill to a young Dick Clark. You know, the guy just never ages. I don't understand it. And I've known Bill about 20 years now, 20 years off and on. And I've got to tell you that I did not know until this week that he was in the class of 1966. I always thought, Bill, you were just a couple years before me, 1966. And then I started thinking. I thought, you know, I'm in the class of 1981, and I'm 51 years old, and Bill is in the class of 1966, so that would make Bill, let's see, 51, 61. Well, you know, some people think that Sloanies have a difficult time figuring out these complex mathematical problems. And perhaps that's the reason why Sloanies are no longer part of the College of Business and Public Administration, now known as the Johnson School. But I've got to tell you, those people are flat out wrong. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I do not have enough time tonight to go into a lot of detail on this issue. And there's probably a few professors, one dean for sure, and a lot of academic staffers that are probably happy to hear that. But I will share with you a little bit that I recently read an interesting article about those tween years, as written in the 24-page memoirs of Doug Brown. And Doug could not be here today, but I do suggest that you get a copy of his memoirs and try and read that. And you may not agree with everything in there, but it's really a fascinating story. And I understand our own Jeff Bastable here at the front is working on the history of the Sloan program, and that certainly will be great reading. So try and get those. For those of us who were students during the tween years, being a student was a bit like having your parents go through a really bad divorce. You know, you love both programs, both parents, both schools, but you're really not sure what all the fuss was about and what's really going on behind the scenes. A few years ago, I believe it was in 2004, I had the distinct pleasure of being the Wagner Dinner speaker, and I gave a talk about hurricanes and the effect hurricanes have on communities, and perhaps that might be the better analogy here. You see, when you have a hurricane come through a community, you have this beautiful hospital, you've got programs, you've got the community going, you're building on all that, and then suddenly this big wind comes along and just blows everything away. But you know, a funny thing happens. If you're lucky enough and persistent enough to rebuild something, a really fascinating thing happens. You end up with a better program, a stronger program, with a better sense of purpose, a sharper vision, and you're more true to your goals. And this, I think, is how many people would describe the outcome of those turbulent tween years in the Sloan program history. We're better focused, stronger, and true to our values, better than ever before.